It is my privilege and my pleasure to say Happy Hat Day on our fourth Sunday of St. Patty's Month. I am Reverend Vicki Jeter, your minister for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. Thank you, everyone, for being with us this Sunday, March the 23rd, 2025. We welcome all paths to God. We welcome your challenges and your questions, because all pieces and paths of spirit, all areas and parts of ourselves are essential to a world that works for all beings. So whether you're here with us for the first time, or if you're watching us on YouTube later, thank you for being with us, because you are why we are here. And so now, this morning, Spirit brings us another opportunity for going into opening prayer. And surely we know there's all kinds of things to be praying about individually and collectively. This morning, I want to invite us to become a healing and transformation circle. As you think about coming into opening prayer, just imagine that we are circled up. We are circled up hand to hand, eye to eye, with smiles and love and all that support that we have for each other. Just imagine a spacious room where we are all literally connected. In spirit, we are in the same room, and at heart, we are heart to heart holding hands. And as we see ourselves together, take a moment to allow yourself to be seen and accepted in the circle of love for yourself, and take an opportunity to consider an area that you are ready and willing to have taken to the next level, to do that releasing so that you have more room to receive the good. And we do this together on behalf of ourselves, on behalf of the center, and on behalf of what the center has to offer the world. And so with all of this in mind, now stop and take that opportunity to set your personal intention. Check and see what brought you to be with us today. And our shared intention is to follow Reverend Carolyn's guidance and how to live all that we've been learning with this intention. How do we take this and put the fourth tire on the pavement and move it into our everyday lives? And all of this we take into opening prayer. When we're on the leading edge, the universe loves speed. So we simply stop and say, I recognize there is one life, one love, one infinite presence that is continually emerging as all that is. And as it is all that is all, that is as I am. As it is all that is all, that is the I am of each person within the sound of my voice. And we are I am together in mind, heart, and soul. And from this alignment, I open myself as a vessel of spirit. I open the space for Reverend Carolyn as a vessel of spirit. And I open the space for the collective LCSL as an entity, as a vessel of spirit, to give and receive all that is here for us this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I release it, I let it be, and so it is. And this flows us right into our opening song, Get Ready, My Soul, with Daniel Nahmad.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here. And I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Get ready, my soul, to claim and declare our mission and vision. The mission of Louisville Center for Spiritual Living and Teaching Chapter is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God, which manifests our vision of a world that honors and respects all people. So this week, we have the last of the Declaration of Principles by Dr. Ernest Holmes. Every week, we have applications of how to live this teaching. And so this week, we begin with the last of the Declaration of Principles. I believe in my own soul, my own spirit, and my own destiny, for I understand that the life of all is God. And then this week, particular to our topic, the application of what we believe is life always reveals itself to us in terms of what we give it. There's that reciprocity. That was Dr. Ernest Holmes. And then this one I particularly thought was a lot of fun. I had no idea that Audrey Hepburn may have been a visionary. Audrey Hepburn said, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. And I know that that's going to particularly speak to this group. And now it is my pleasure to turn this over to our practitioner of the week, Miss Katrina Duro, for sacred reading and meditation.
Thank you so much, Vicki. So in the Science of Mind magazine for April of 2025, there is this incredible article that I have been contemplating on all week in regards to my meditation and sacred time. It's by Jeffron Seeley, and I wish I could read the entire article because it's fabulous. So I've taken a part of it to read to you today. As we feel the vibrant sun shining down from above, enabling our life on this planet, our awareness expands beyond this sacred earth. We observe the beauty of the creation of the solar system we call home. Our planet may be but one small speck of sand in the infinite universe, yet within this small speck of sand, our existence unfolds. All of this is divinely aligned and can be an enormous source of gratitude and deep appreciation for life. If we shift from the macro of the universe and look at ourselves individually, we can observe something as simple as our ancestry. We see countless individuals, each life, who are absolutely essential in creating the human beings we are today. It does not matter whether these ancestors were beacons of light or love or hurtful and destructive people. They were essential for us to exist in this moment. The same energy that enables the earth to rotate on its axis in this solar system with harmony and grace is the energy that gave rise to each human being who ever stepped foot on the planet. Divine intelligence is back of all things. Shifting our perspective to our individual lives, we can see numerous experiences we've had as we venture through this journey. Some experiences brought an abundant sense of joy, happiness, compassion, peace, and prosperity. Others brought turmoil, pain, fear, hurt, and brokenness. Yet, all experiences, both the perceived empowered and disempowered, played a role in shaping our journey. Just as the soil in my garden has been through countless experiences I couldn't even imagine, so too have you. Yet it is those very experiences that make you so incredible. Those experiences act as the fertilizer that help us grow into our potential. As we know, the best fertilizer is the waste most people don't want. The challenges and waste are often discarded, can, in truth, become powerful nutrients for growth. Living as divine beings, empowered by the essence of life, means there is no experience or situation bigger than we are. We experience the experience that have the ability to empower and shape what we encounter. We are not at the mercy of the experience, but rather are both the observer and co-creator of our experiences. As the experiencer, we shape each moment in a way such that we use our essence or energy to unfold into something greater, something more profound. Venture into your sacred garden. In the same way that we prepare our garden beds in the spring with a rake, a tiller, a shovel, we can venture into the sacredness of our inner garden and tend to the sacred soil that dwells within us. That soil has accumulated nutrients since the first ancestors walked on this earth. That inner soil gathered nutrients from the variety of experiences you have had in your life. All of those experiences bring something valuable and are deposited into this soil, which you can use to grow anything you'd like. Till this soil, grasp those seeds of potential, your gifts, your greatness, and see the beauty within them. Sow them gratefully in this inner garden, knowing with absolute certainty, in the same way that you sow tomatoes, cucumbers, or watermelon in your garden, that if you tend to these seeds with care and support, their growth through consistent watering and attention, they will grow and produce. So it is for these seeds you sow within yourself. Know within deep faith and assurance that you can unfurl, grow, and become anything you like. As you reflect on your inner garden, ask yourself, what seeds of potential will you choose to plant today? What seeds of potential will you choose to plant today? Trust your inner soil, abundant with divine nourishment. Hold all you need to create in the life you desire. But you are the sower. You tend to the garden. Your soil, filled with the infinite, will produce what you seek to experience. The question then becomes, what will you intentionally and consistently grow? What will you intentionally and consciously grow? You are the sacred sower. And my question for you to contemplate this week is, as the sacred sower, what is your relationship to that which you plant and create? What is your relationship to that which you plant and create in your world? And so it is. Amen. And for our special music this morning, by Karen Drucker, Brave.
If I just show up, be open to surprise, there could be miracles right before my eyes.
if I just let go, something better might appear. Who knows what will happen when joy replaces fear? When I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, unstoppable and free, I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, when I dare to be brave, I'll trust in who I am, be bold and take a shot. Who knows what will happen when I give it all I got? Even when I'm scared, I'll step into the ring. I've got so much to offer with the gifts that I can bring. When I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, unstoppable and free, I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, oh, I'm brave. I've worried for so long and I've wasted too much time. Now I'm ready to take a chance and claim what is mine. The path is free and clear, there's nothing in my way. I listen to my heart and not what other people say. I'm gonna take that leap. I've never felt so strong. I might not do it perfectly, but I'm right where I belong. And when I dare to be all that I'm meant to be, like a shooting star across the sky, I'm unstoppable and free. I shine my light, I turn darkness into light. When I dare to be brave, when I dare to be brave, nothing's gonna stop me, nothing is in my way.
Good morning. We're in the month of September, and our national theme is planting our intentions, rising higher and growing deeper is for the year. And then theme is the flow of coming and going. And then for today, it's planting my intentions. I appreciate the opening. Katrina, that was beautiful. Your reading was just beautiful. And it's all about being open to the higher understanding of who we are and letting it form who we are and what we think we are and how we express in the world, which is all about setting our autopilot to divinity, setting it in the right direction and then letting it guide us and live through us. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. And I love that song because I had never known that song before. I know a lot of Karen Drucker, but I had never known that one. So it was like a little special treasure to get it this morning. I have missed the last 3 Sundays, and I'll talk more about that later. So this morning to see all of your beautiful faces is really a very special blessing. I didn't intend to miss, didn't want to miss, but it just worked out that way. And so it's especially sweet to be here this morning and to be given the opportunity to share and to be in your presence and to be blessed by your love and support, which I always know is there, whether I'm here or not. I know that this community is a loving community and that I'm a part of it, and I'm very grateful for that. So the national thing that sends us out the theme for the weeks and the months and stuff, they send out also monthly global holidays and observations. And so they talked about, St. Patty's Day and so forth, but they also included that on March the 20th, it was International Day of Happiness. You ever heard that one before? I hadn't either. International Day of Happiness. I really think we ought to get behind that. I think Hallmark needs to start a whole new line of cards, and they just ought to be the hit, and there ought to be parades, and there ought to be events, and people ought to be talking about it, and governments ought to be sending out declarations, and it just ought about International Day of Happiness. So in doing my part and getting this started, let me take this moment to say, happy, happy, happy day of happiness to each and every one of you. May it be one little kick in your life of happiness. Okay. The ebb and flow, my talk and Vicky's talk and the monthly theme is all about coming and going, in and out, up and down, empty and full, all of that kind of idea. And I loved Vicky's talk last week about I had it, I lost it. And that idea was very poignant for me at the time when I read that and was reviewing that. But I got it, I lost it. Now what do I do? How do I get it back? Where do I find that level of divine awareness, that level of knowing who I am, that I am truly spirit in expression? I got it. I know that. And then all of a sudden life happens and I get diverted and I get distracted and I lose that real sense of who I am, and I'm set adrift. I'm in chaos and I can't really get a handle on who I am and where I fit in the universe and where I fit within spirit. And that's what was happening to me. At the end of February, a lot of things were happening. I gave the talk that I did, and I was planning this new talk in March, starting to think about it. And all of a sudden, I had a pain in my lower abdomen, and it was intense, and it stayed, and it didn't go away. And weeks later, I still had it, and I was adrift. I had ER visits. I still don't know what it was. I finally got into my primary care physician. At one point, he said, "We probably never will know what that was." That was not reassuring, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. But I only share it with you because it was setting me adrift. That distraction set me in a place where my central focus was not clear, and I was feeling very much adrift. But then I got to feeling a little bit better, and I got to talking about this talk and really focusing on where I am spiritually. You're going to share something spiritual, you need to get working on your spirit where you're at. And it forces you to get connected and be quit being in chaos all the time. And so I was doing all of that, and that made a huge difference. And I really spoke to me on how do you stay connected when everything in your life is sending you adrift? When everything that's happening on a daily basis is making you feel unconnected, how do you stay connected? I wish I had an easy answer to that, but I don't really have an easy answer to that. I just know that there is an answer. Vernon, would you show that first slide? The ebb and flow of life are God's way of teaching us to dance in both the rain and the sunshine. I love this little image, the little girl, the umbrella, the idea of dancing in the rain and dancing in the sunshine. And that still is always about spirit showing us how to do it, being with us, whether we're dancing in the rain or dancing in the sunshine, or not dancing at all because we're at a place of being adrift. And so that little image was important to me, and I share it with you, thinking about being adrift, being within the ebb and the flow, trying to understand the ebb and flow. The principle of the universe does not tolerate a vacuum. If there's an emptiness, the universe fills it. And that for me is very important to know. If I am feeling some sort of emptiness, or I look at the world around me and I see an emptiness, I know that the universe is working to fill it. Vernon, would you show that second slide real quick? As all of us know who Desmond Tutu was, and we know what a powerful impact he had on the world. And he had it through quiet leadership, through, he didn't lead an army. He didn't, talk about hate or talk about differences. He talked about coming together. And he said, I am a leader by default, only because nature does not allow a vacuum. There was a leadership need. There was an emptiness where leadership was concerned in South Africa. They needed leadership. And what Desmond was saying was that he was there to fill it, not because of his so much leadership, but there was a need, and he was there and he filled it. And I find that very comforting. And I look at my life and wonder, where am I filling a need? I look at my personal life, my friends, my family, and where is it that there is a need that I am filling? And where might I do more of that? And can I be confident and happy knowing that I'm doing what I'm called to do? Because wherever there is a vacuum in my life or a vacuum in my world, I am there to fill it, because simply that's the way nature is. That's the way the world works. Thank you, Vernon. So those things, I leave you with the thoughts about the national theme and what's going on with all of that. During that same time, I had come to I had a bright idea. I think that all the talks and all these things are bright ideas that come in little snippets. And sometime in February, I was thinking about, I actually had run across this little book about healing. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. And I thought, does our congregation, do people really know about our fathers and mothers, the foundation people in our movement, those people that we have written about and quoted and read over and over and over again, and that the leaders of our current movement still quote? And they talk about them being the father of New Thought, or the teacher of teachers, or whatever. How much do our congregations know about that? I know that early on we taught a lot of classes, and they come up with the Tech Foundations or in their other classes, and you will find them a lot. And I'm sure you've been exposed to some of them. How many of you know Quimby? Do you know Quimby? Okay, I see some yeses. All right. Quimby was great, and I love Quimby. So we're going to talk about him today. But it's one of the things I'm going to be doing as I have the privilege of giving talks. I'm going to bring up the foundation people, the people that we quote all the time that are foundational to our beliefs and our understanding of how it all works. They were foundational to Ernest Holmes. They were the people that he studied, that he met, and he talked to, and that he formed his ideas about. And they were very critical to him. And so I'm going to be bringing them up because I love them and I hope that you do too. So in this book, the first one is Phineas Parkhurst Quimby. Um, that's quite a handle. In this day and age, we don't run across very many people that had that sort of name. He was named, of course, after family names. Instead of Mike or David, he was Phineas, and Parkhurst, a family name, Quimby. He was a clockmaker. He had been an apprentice and became a clockmaker. He was 1802 to 1866. He made a good profession of being a clockmaker. He was also an inventor, and he invented several things. A couple of things were industrial type machinery. And so he had a very successful career. But when he was in his early 30s, he was getting ready to die. He had consumption, tuberculosis. And at the time, the only treatment for tuberculosis was almost worse than the disease. And so he was quickly fading and he was dying. And so he was preparing to die. And a friend of his said that he had been horseback riding and he believed that that had helped him to be healed. And Quimby thought, okay, that's weird, but I'll try anything. So he got a horse cart and a horse. He rented them, and he went out one day riding, in the cart with the horse and going along. He could barely get into the cart. He could barely get the horse ready to ride, but he was hanging on and going along. There was no way he could ride a horse, but he could do the cart. So he was going along, and they came to the base of a hill, a large hill, a very muddy hill, and the horse just stopped. It just stood there. It wasn't going anywhere, no matter what Quimby did. That horse was there, and it was not going anywhere. He was stuck. Didn't know what he was going to do. He wasn't strong enough to get out and pull the horse. And so he sat there, and a farmer came by. And the farmer realized what was going on, and he offered to help. And Quimby said yes, and so he did. He helped to get that horse moving, and he began to move up that hill. Quimby's holding on tight, and the horse went right up the hill. And once he got up to the top of the hill, he just kept on going. And so they kept on down the road until they got home. And when he got home, he got out of the cart and started to undo the bridle and so forth and all that stuff, and realized he felt okay. He felt good. He felt better than he had done so in a long, long time. He was healed. He couldn't understand what had happened, but he accepted that it had happened. And he moved forward from that. He celebrated his new lease on life, and he began to study, how did this happen? What had happened to him? And he spent all of his time, one, getting his life going again, and two, trying to figure out what happened on that day. What was the difference? What made the difference between the time he left his house and could barely get moving to the time he got home? And he undid all the wrappings on that horse and felt good. And that started him on his career for the rest of his life of studying in different ways. He worked on his own. He worked with people. And during that time, there was a movement of mesmerism in Europe. And they had visiting people come to America. And he saw one of those doctors from Europe talk about mesmerism, hypnotism. And he went to the lecture and he studied that. And he thought, what can that teach me about the brain? And so he studied it and he took up practicing it. And because he was trying to figure out, how does the brain work? Why is this working? Why did I get well? He made friends with Lucas Berkmar. Lucas was a person who could be hypnotized quickly. He could just go into a trance, and when he did, he was very focused and very open, and he could understand what was happening to people around him. And he and Phineas worked together for a long time. And all the time he's studying, why does Lucas know more when he's in that state? Why is it that he knows more about what's going on in Quimby's life? How is it that he knows what's going on in other people's life? Is it that he can read what is what the illness that they have and what's going on? Because Phineas began to understand that illness was a result of belief. It was a result of thought. It was not a result of material things. It was a result of what was the belief. And if you could change the belief, you could change the status of the body. And so he began to study that even more. He outgrew Lucas and began to have his own practice, really based only on his own study and independent of anybody else's influence. And he would hold seminars. He'd put out a little pamphlet, and the pamphlet would say, Dr. Quimby will be here at this time. And if you would like to attend, those wishing to come to consult with him, he gives no medicine, makes no outward applications. He tells them their feelings and what they think is their disease. Then his explanation is the cure. That part of the pamphlet ended with, the truth is the cure. The truth is the cure. When a person could understand what their belief was about a situation and can see the truth of it, they'll be well. He was in Portland, Maine in 1859, and he wrote frequently in different newspapers and magazines and so forth, and they all follow the same theme. Disease is essentially mental. And so people would come to him. He would sit with them. He would tell them what they were believing, what they were thinking about disease, and what the truth was. They might feel like it was a punishment. They might feel like it was something that happened because of this or that. They might feel that they had a religious belief that said that it was what, but he would tell them that the truth was in this belief, was a mistaken understanding that they had, and would tell them what the truth was. And they would listen, and they would believe, and they would be well. He came to understand that doctors often were the cause of the illness. They had their own beliefs about things. They had their own training. And when people came to them, they projected their beliefs onto their patients. And so he would often tell people, you need to understand that the doctors don't know. This is different. This is what you believe. And this is what you need to understand. And so he worked with them in that way. He met with thousands and thousands of people. And this is at a time, you didn't go on radio and television. You sat in the hallway, or they came to your home, or wherever you set up, and you sat with them one by one and individually, sometimes in groups, but most one-on-one. And you talked to them about what was going on. It says he sat down next to the patient, and he allowed himself to become completely passive and focus on the patient's feelings. And then he reported what he understood about them and explained to them the error of their belief. Over the years, Quimby's patients numbered in the multiple thousands and thousands of them. And he never charged anything. There was never any money exchanged. He never gave them anything to take. He never laid his hands on them and none of that. It was all in talking to them and understanding them. And he was unique in that. His teachings came from his own experiences, his own experiments. He didn't have teachers to teach him. He didn't have other peoples to tell him what they understood and how to go about doing whatever it is that they were doing. He did write manuscripts. He had patients, dressers came through and they were patients of his. And then they became followers. And then they became teachers. And we have them to thank for preserving the messages from Quimby, to protecting his books, protecting his articles, his things that he wrote, and they protected them and published them, but that was years after Quimby died before they were published and they were general knowledge. He had people that we know come and visit him. The Fillmores, the Mary Baker Eddy were both visitors of his. They didn't know him well because their time didn't overlap that much, but they did have some exposure to him. I often think about, how did he develop his belief? How was he strong enough? It said at one time, a doctor wrote to a different doctor and said that he had done a surgery and had used Quimby's hypnosis as anesthesia, and the patient never expressed any reaction of pain through the entire procedure, and that he had never met a person before he met Quimby that had the concentration level that he did, that he could concentrate so clearly on what was happening in that one moment, in that one time. There is no intelligence, no power or action in matter itself. The spiritual world to which our eyes are closed by ignorance or belief is the real world. In it lie all the causes for every effect visible in the natural world. I think Quimby is fascinating. And yes, if I could go and sit down with him for a few hours, I would go and sit down with him for a few hours because I just think he is fascinating, and his gift is just wonderful that he could help as many people as he did. And he helped them by understanding that the truth is spirit, that the truth is understanding truth and living it. It's not about things. It's not about other ideas. It's about truth. It's about spirit expressed in its fullness. Okay. When I was going through this, Vicki and I were talking about it, and she mentioned that she had talked to someone else about this, and that they had said, wouldn't it be nice if she had a quote by Emma Curtis Hopkins? Oh, that's Katrina. Okay. Katrina, I don't know why you thought that when Vicki was talking about what I was going to say, but I follow those little nudges. When those things come up, then I go and I look for a quote by Emma Curtis Hopkins. And the quote that I came up with was this, and I'm going to close with it. I offer it as my gift. If everything seems against us and everything hurts us greatly, we must put great vehemence into our saying, I do not believe in sickness. I believe in health. I do not believe or think that misfortune has any power whatsoever. I believe in prosperity and success. I do not believe in sickness. I believe in health. I do not believe or think that misfortune has any power whatsoever. I believe in prosperity and success. With those words, I let my focus move to appreciation for all it is, to deep appreciation for the ability to know and to express the wisdom, the beauty, the power of the universe. And I am deeply grateful. And I stand in the beauty of that presence. And I know that each of us is that presence in expression. And with gratitude and joy, I celebrate our expressions of the perfect I am, the perfect expression of life. In celebration and joy, I let my words encompass all of the beauty and life that is spirit. In great joy, I let it be. I call it good. I call it done. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Before we move into the next phase of service, I want to drop back because there's a very powerful image of Quimby that goes with the image of Emma that you saw.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to invite Vernon. I just want you to see the image that Carolyn spoke about so eloquently.
Thank you,
Because
Vicki, because I forgot that out.
that's okay. So this is Phineas Parker's Quimby, and he and Emma talk about your balance between your masculine and your feminine. So there's Phineas, and then the image of Emma that you just saw. The two of them together. Without the two of them together, you know, we probably aren't here today for sure. So thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Vernon, for being willing to drop back and pick that up.
Thank you.
And of course, we can talk about that more during sharing time. So now we're going to go back, Katrina. I'm going to give the word back to you for prosperity.
Thank you so much for each of your time, talents, and treasures that you share with the Lowville Center. We are absolutely blessed and grateful to have each of you present and for the gifts that you bring and contribute. So the ways that you can contribute financially to the center is through credit card, debit card. There's a PayPal link there. We also accept payment through Zelle, or you can mail a check directly. And our affirmation, prosperity affirmation for today, as an expression of divine spirit, I am limitless. I can be, do, and have anything I align with in my highest good. As this is true for me, I know this is true for all. And as I embody this affirmation for this week, I send over the blessings with gratitude to Reverend Vicki to bless the offering and the gifts that are providing growth to this center.
And I take up this word from Katrina as the flow of the good we know right through our basket that is like the fish and the loaves. You all bring your time, talents, and treasures, which we embrace with such love and appreciation. And it flows right through this little pivot point and goes right back out to bless the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that is, all that you are. Mostly, we thank you for being you. I bless it, I release it, I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Vicki. So for announcements, we have a board meeting via Zoom this Monday, March 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this very Zoom. Everyone is welcome to join, and we look forward to seeing each of you that are able to join the board. Next week's speaker is Reverend Vicki, and she will be discussing the flow of coming and going, blossoming in the swaying.
Thank you, Katrina. Katrina and I made an agreement that she would do a number of the announcements and then I would pick up from there. And then I failed to tell her where I was picking up, but I'll be picking up from here. So go ahead, Vernon. So some of you may recall that it's this Tuesday, the 25th of March, that we have our next local in-person. It's called Moth Radio Louisville. It's at Headliners Music Hall on Lexington Road in Louisville. And just kind of looking to see if you're local and you plan on coming Tuesday evening. We'd like to know to be looking for you. And if you have any questions about this, Joan is back from Mexico. Welcome home, Joan, so you can help with questions. And also Susan has been there. And I'm looking forward to going. Just let us know if there's anything you need that would support your being able to do this. Go ahead, Vernon. And doing this with a reminder about the plants that represent Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. It's not about pounding this into anybody. We're coming into the place where some of us have our plants. And so during sharing time, we're going to start sharing actual images of the plants people have chosen to represent LCSL. And we just wanted to kind of let you know that that's coming when we get into sharing time. Now, this is a very special announcement because we have a local opportunity to support a family who is having a challenge. One of our members who isn't able to actually come to Sundays very often, but she's been to many classes and been around for a long time, Debbie Taylor, she fell about 6 weeks ago and really has a compound situation going on for one leg, as she won't be able to put any weight on it for about 4 months. And her husband and her son don't cook. And so I'm interested in any local people who would enjoy cooking salads or one pot meals kinds of things, and we can talk about what that looks like. I sent them something this last week to see how that would go. It went very well and they were very grateful. So just ask me if you're local to Louisville and you like to cook, etc. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. And this takes us into please do stay for sharing time if you can after the benediction.
And I will be available for spiritual mind treatment for those of you who would like prayer support. And as we always want to remember unity, and as individuals, you are magnificent. Our closing song is a receiving chant by Karen Drucker.
I do believe I will receive. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind and just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe I will receive. I just have to know and then declare bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe I will receive. I will receive. I just have to know. I just have to know and then declare it to be so. With an open mind. With an open mind. Just a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time now. If it serves my highest good, then it will be mine. I do believe. I do believe. I will receive. I will receive. I just have to know. Just have to know. And then declare it to be so with an open mind. And just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. I do believe. I do believe. I will receive. I will receive. I just have to know. Just have to know. And then declare it to be so with an open mind. Just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. I do believe. I will receive. I just have to know and then declare it to be so with an open mind. Just a little bit of time. If it serves my highest good, then it is mine. Anything I want, it is mine. Anything I want, it is mine. Perfect health, it is mine. Perfect health, it is mine. Joy and peace, yeah, it is mine. Joy and peace, it is mine. Love, 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 it is mine. Love, 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 it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine. If it serves my highest good, it is mine.
So, y'all may recognize this image and that this is our benediction, but following in Carolyn's footsteps of responding to special requests, it's really wonderful because there are two that are being responded to today. Last week, we had someone give a very heartfelt sharing about being impacted by what had been our benediction. So I took that into prayer, and we have a new benediction for the remainder of this month. I invite you to say with me, please. Divine Spirit, I own the truth of who I am, an expression of pure spirit. The divine wrote my storyline before I was born and cast me into its great production of a wondrous life made real. I'm on this journey with everyone, for we are all made in the image and likeness of God. It's an all-star cast. Thank you, God, forever. Amen.